Hey, how's it going everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to some more Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord. Today we're going to be diving in and taking a look at the brand new update for the Tales of the Age of Men. This is the Lord of the Rings modification, and in this update they have finally implemented the Isengard troop tree, so we now have Urukai in as Isengard, and that really kind of completes their initial plans for the mod. It was always going to be for phase 1 they wanted Gondor, Mordor, Rohan and Isengard, and with the implementation of Isengard and the Uruk-hai, we now basically have all of that plus so much more. There's like dwarves in, elves, armors across so many different factions. It really is incredible everything they've managed to implement in such a short time. Keep in mind that this mod really kind of started over just late last year, so already they've done so much work. And they have actually stated as well that the next public playtest, because right now this build is currently only available to their Patreons, but they have stated that the next playtest will be on May 1st. So in a couple weeks, you guys will be able to play this version, probably this version plus some other stuff that they've implemented in the time it's taken. And I will definitely say that this version right here is probably one of the most put together things. You can definitely have a campaign within this area very, very effectively, playing as Gondor, using stuff like player switch to have a lot of fun. It's still very much a work in progress, but there is a lot of content here. So let's start off by taking a look at Isengard and the new implementation of this faction. Now, Isengard aren't exactly going to be one of the largest factions to mess around with. Right now, of course, we only have, Orthanc being our main settlement, but it's going to be interesting to see them kind of expand out and if they can actually deal with the forces of Rohan, especially when like Dol Guldur and other stuff gets added. And I think what they're working on next actually is going to be Dunland. So Dunland's obviously going to fill out a lot of this area, making its alliance with Isengard, and that should obviously give them an upper foot in the battle. Also, on top of that, they're also increasing the garrison of Isengard as well to I think 600-700 men as well. So again, it shouldn't be the easiest settlement to actually take over. But let's go over and see what the Urukai roster is going to be all about. And at the end of the video, we'll also do a battle as well. So we'll take Isengard actually into combat and see what they're made of. But starting off, we do just have kind of a basic Urukai setup, nothing too crazy. They're going to be kind of equipped in these cloth armors. They're still going to have access to the shield and the Isengard one-handed sword, but nothing too mad. As soon as we make our way over, upgraded to the Urukai fighter, we are immediately going to be getting access to some chainmail. Again, this armor is going to start giving them in the 25 ranges stat-wise as well. They actually have some really insane stats for a tier 2. 150 one-handed and two-handed skill is not too bad. We're going to upgrade to the tier 3s, and you can start to see the armor being cladded on. We make our way down to more of the heavier infantry. They definitely have more armor, but it's kind of weird that they don't have the chainmail underneath. I will say that. I think it'd be more interesting to have the chainmail underneath, as this is a tier 4 soldier instead of just the cloth, but obviously the plate looks great. And then we go down, and then all of a sudden they have the chainmail, so maybe it's a bug or something in the XML file. Yeah, these guys are great. They've done an amazing job with these, especially the upper tiers. The tier 6s look incredible. These helmets look amazing, and I believe there's several variants of the helmets as well. So we make our way over to the Guard. Again, these guys are going to be with the big old tower shields. We'll be able to see them actually in battle in a little bit later. And again, I love the white hands as well. Over there we have the white hand champions. We have the berserkers as well. There is actually a very armored berserker unit right here as well. I think it's actually a missed opportunity not to have the berserkers on a tree of their own. This is such an iconic unit of Lord of the Rings, especially the movies. Seeing these berserkers just make their way forward, cutting down enemies. I feel like I'd get to this point in the unit tree and never want to update them to this unit. I mean, this unit looks incredible, but I feel like I want that two-handed unit in a completely separate thing. And do keep in mind, all of these unit trees are subject to change as well. These are very much work in progress, and these initial stages are all looking for feedback from people playing them from the Patreon. And I'm sure when they do the playtest as well, they'll be looking for a big improvement and a kind of addition to that. But yeah, these guys look great. Again, this unit is just awesome. It really is. And again, this unit looks amazing as well. Look at that. I love the face and the kind of redness coming down from the mouth as well. Looks great. Of course, you can't have Isengard without having crossbowmen. And again, you can see the custom helmets as well. Love the shoulder pads also. There's a lot of individual bits of armor as well, which look really, really good. Yeah, over on this side, you kind of have the Reavers, and I feel like, maybe the Berserker could be the highest upgrade. But again, they're unarmored. So yeah, I feel like this Berserker should just be a separate upgrade of I don't know, maybe they could be a noble unit? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how I'd implement them. Because yeah, you don't want to go from like heavily armored to a berserker, but you also don't want to go from a berserker to a heavily armored either. Interesting. That's why I'm not a game developer or a mod developer right there. But you also have access to these reavers. Again, custom weapons as well is something big in the mod as well, that it has been done. So you can see even these archers, we can't see the bows yet, we'll see them in battle, but even the short bow is custom made. And again, I think the custom weapons are so important to the mod. Again, armor is most important, but having custom weapons and not seeing like a vanilla Bannerlord sword makes such a difference. At least for me it does. And it just, again, immerses you in the world, makes you feel like you're playing a complete, you know, kind of complete overhaul rather than bits here and there. But again, it's costly and expensive and takes time to do something like that. So again, I'm not expecting it, but it's great to see it because again, it just adds that level of immersion. We do also have the we also do have a troop tree as well for the noble units. So these are going to be the guards or Fang. Maybe what I'd actually do for the berserkers, sorry to harper on it, but yeah, maybe I'll do like a line of nobles and then have like a line stretching off for the berserker, you know, have a separate kind of upgrade path from like a tier 4 or tier 5 and then upgrade them that way. Could be kind of interesting. I don't know. Either way, these guys look really good. The Orphanc chosen, again, heavily armored. They have pretty gnarly stats. Yeah, 400 stats. I think that's maybe a bit too much for a lot of these guys, but again, balancing is still very much a work in progress, and maybe it works in the theme of a mod. I feel like they'll be swinging their swords so goddamn fast. But yeah, a massive new roster for Isengard. They also have some new lords as well. So of course, all their leaders. I mean, he looks incredible, right? That looks like a scary man, especially when compared to the Mordor Uruks as well. They look very good. But yeah, as you guys can see, Isengard themselves are very good. We actually don't have the White Wizard in yet right now. He's not leading Isengard, but I'm sure he will do later down the line. And you have a few other of the lords. Again, it's really nice having all the nobles actually, you know, in their armors being custom as well, because some factions don't quite have that yet. Again, you can see kind of the Isengard, the Mordor version of them looking very good. Of which, if you guys haven't seen it, I believe Mordor has also been made very visible now. So if we go to nighttime, previously it was quite difficult to see Mordor in the night, but in this most recent update, someone has made it so that, like, yeah, as you guys can see, you know, it goes dark, and obviously is gonna still be dark, right? You know, the Bannerlord is dark instead, but again, Minas Morgul, always have to point that out. That looks incredible. And yeah, as we make our way over here, as you guys can see, it's just much more visible now with the fires of Mount Doom, Barad-dûr. And, you know, as I said, this is like, you know, it was daytime, is now becoming dawn. But yeah, you guys can see all the look of it, and again, it looks great. They've done a good job there. Also, the south has also been completed as well, so there's a lot more land down here in the south of Mordor that has now been fleshed out and built out. And we're even, when it comes to the map as well, getting a little bit of Dol Guldur being implemented as well. The very basics starts of Dol Guldur, and I believe Umber down here in the south has also, starting to come together. They're being placed on the map, which is more than anything else. You can also see banner-wise, a lot of these factions are having their banners done. It does seem like Mordor has most of their banners implemented right here. I would actually, again, personal opinion, like to see the color, the background color change for Mordor. I feel like this just reminds me of the Empire, and again, that kills a little bit of immersion for me. I'd like to see maybe some more custom color backgrounds and stuff, but the actual icons look great. They really, really do. I imagine they'll probably look more like this eventually, like Dol Guldur. And you can also see as well the Dwarven stuff has been implemented, and so is like Mount Gundabad and stuff, which I've mentioned this in a previous video, but the Dwarfs also now have actually a unit roster, and they're continuing to improve them as well. So if we come over, you guys can see the Dwarven unit roster as well, and it is pretty vast. And again, keep in mind as well that this dwarf is a completely custom skeleton model as well. So they've gone in, this isn't just a small human, this is a completely custom skeleton. I know it was an absolute pain to implement, but it looks great. They've done a great job with the dwarfs. If you guys haven't seen this already, and again, this will all be accessed in the playtest, considering that the dwarfs aren't even meant to be done yet. It's really awesome to see it, and it's the same, I believe, with the elves. I'm not sure if the wood elves have it. I think they do now have yeah, they do. I know, yeah, they do actually have a unit roster as well. So the wood elves are also fully implemented as well, which is just insane, right? These factions were never meant to be done this early on, but you guys can see, again, they only have like one armor piece, but they have custom bows, I believe, and a few custom cool weapons as well already in. But yeah, the armor looks really, really good. And I also believe, yeah, here we go as well, we also have a pretty large roster as well for the Galadriel elves, not the Galadriel elves, sorry, the Rivendell elves right here, the Noldor elves Elves. Again, I'm sure we'll get more armors and stuff, like as of right now. Again, for these factions which aren't really meant to be implemented yet, they've just kind of done them and stuck them in, which is awesome for us as the players to be able to mess around with them. But a lot of these units, you know, they're not being fleshed out yet or anything. So again, I'm sure we'll be getting plenty more weapons, armors, and, you know, stuff when they actually kind of become the focus of the mod team. But again, they're here, and again, it's great to have this faction actually in the mod, running around and doing its thing. And I imagine doing something like this is going to make it much easier later on down the line when it does come to actually fully fleshing out, you know, Rivendell, the Wood Elves, etc., when they get their place on the map and their lords custom made, etc. Yeah, it looks awesome. One thing to mention as well is a lot of their focus, now that they have these 4 major factions in, everything on the campaign map is done. Oh yeah, speaking of which, so just got a quick tangent, they've also changed up where Helm's Deep is going to be placed on the map. They've made it so that this part of the mountain fully extends over to Orthanc, basically, and there's like a river crossing here that you can go. But yeah, this mountain basically extends way further out now, which will be interesting to see when that fully implements, and I imagine that probably will be ready for the May 1st build. As I was saying, their main focus for the mod now is a lot of the coding stuff, obviously expanding out new factions like Dunland, the Wood Elves, and everything else, but also they're going to be really trying to implement some cool features into the mod now as well to make it more than just a Bannerlord reskin. They've got a good and evil feature. As one side starts to win, it gives you bonuses and negatives, etc., which will be very exciting. So I've got ourselves into a battle against Gondor. I don't think we're going to fare too well because there's like 500 of them. I also have no idea how we're actually going to deal with cavalry in the game because wargs aren't in. I think they're planned, but they're not actually in the game right now. But still, I wanted to obviously take a little look-see at the Urukai and how glorious they actually are in battle with all the custom equipment. You can see I'm looking pretty badass. I'm in like the scouting lurks armor right now. So again, you can see the shield wall looking absolutely fierce. I love the white handprint on the glaives, and yeah, you can make some pretty gnarly shield walls. I've got a big mix of all the different units, so again, you can see up close and personal the Urukai, the Uruk model looking really good. Yeah, this is an awesome faction. You have the big tower shield guys, you have the berserkers in the back line ready to cut apart anyone who makes their way in. Even a bit more of the armored guys of the two-handers as well. We also have access to the archers. I've got a mix of these bowmen, again custom bows right there, looking very awesome. And then we also have the crossbows as well with the custom crossbows again, which I feel like are just so goddamn iconic. So right now the archers are doing a pretty good job. I don't really know why they're not shooting over here quite yet. Just not, yeah, there we go. They're just in range now. So yeah, we'll start putting down some fire on the Gondorians and hopefully start whipping them apart. Yeah, not so bad. Not doing too bad right now. The infantry is going to push up from the Gondorians. There is also a handful of a few more fiefs being implemented as well in Gondor, I believe. I believe these green guys are also new in this. Oh my god, why am I here? Yeah, let's just quickly keep on healing myself so I don't die and just get back to friendly lines. I am now one of you. Day 640 of implementing myself in this formation. Wow. Let's bring back the archers. We'll actually tell the archers to go and fall back. So they'll basically fall their way back, firing as they go. We'll start cutting down these Gondorians. It seems like these overheads do some really long damage. I love the length of this weapon as well. Gives you the ability to do some serious stuff. And now the infantry is going to get stuck in. So if we just take a quick look at the infantry fights, we'll even slow it down a little bit as well so you guys can see in all their glory. Again, the cavalry is going to be a real pain, but you guys can see the tower shields as well, causing some serious damage to their formation. If we can, let's try and get our archers back here as the infantry continues to clash in. We'll see if we can maybe bring our weapon down. Yeah, there's one hit. Okay, we hit the horse. And then one more there. Oh, we didn't even kill him. Wow, he's going to escape. But yeah, I really love the length of this two-handed weapon. Can you... It's not even a two-handed weapon. It's literally just a one-handed weapon. Doesn't seem like we can two-hand it. Right now, though, the Swan Knight's causing us some pretty big issues. Our infantry, though, is cutting them apart. Yeah, I think the infantry have some insane stats, which are gonna, yeah, really prove themselves. Again, balancing isn't really fully implemented yet, so just keep that in mind. But I guess they're gonna need better infantry, and that's gonna make sense in it, because they don't have that cavalry yet, at least, so they're the infantry. And again, the infantry, the average Urukai should be way better than the average human, right? They are the perfected Urukai, you know, they are the perfected orc, able to get stuck in. So, again, hopefully we'll see that. Definitely have to be using the decapitation mod next time I play this as well, because it's just too good not to. Slicing off heads. But yeah, you guys can obviously see the Urukai are a force to be reckoned with. And once again, I think they kind of need to be as well, because they are up against Rohan, and it's going to be a real struggle to beat them. Again, a few little close-ups of the armor pieces. Again, the hands at the back. and everything else looking very good. So yeah, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. Just wanted to show off Isengard and the new implementations. Obviously also that news with the brand new playtest coming May 1st as well, so make sure you keep an eye out over on Nexus Mods for that playtest, and you guys will be able to check this out for yourself. I'll definitely be covering it on the channel, so once again, just keep an eye out open. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and of course, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.